This episode of WDW Today is being sponsored by MEI and Mouse Fan Travel. And you know what? MEI and Mouse Fan Travel is not only the sponsor of this episode, but they're also being a partner with WDW Today in the reunion event going on this December. That's right. WDW Today and Mouse Fan Travel are teaming up to hold a reunion event at Walt Disney World. And you know what? You're invited. That's right. You can join the festivities at Walt Disney World and on the Disney cruise line as well. It's going to be happening from December 6th through the 14th. All the information to book with Mouse Fan Travel, these details, is at www.today.com/reunion, or of course you go to mousefantravel.com.
This is Walt Disney World Today. Give us 5 minutes and we'll give you the world.
It's Wednesday, September 9th, 2009, and this is episode 615 of WDW Today. I'm Matt Hochberg of StudioCentral.com. Joining me on today's show is Mike Scopa, a senior feature writer and blogger for allears.net. Welcome, Mike.
Tempest Fugit, dude.
Timekeeper.
That's correct.
Also joining us on today's show is Len Testa, co-author of the Unofficial Guide to Walt Disney World. And Len, your Steelers, I believe they have a game tomorrow on Thursday.
That's right. We open the season.
I need a prediction for the season, my friend.
16-0, undefeated, and winning yet another Super Bowl.
Well, I'm glad you're being totally unbiased in the situation
and realistic about it too.
Objective eye.
Exactly.
Very good. Well, it's Wednesday, and we're answering your listener questions. And our first question is from Sarah from West Springfield, Massachusetts. It's, hi, guys. I'm a brand new listener to the show. Today was my first episode. Woohoo!
Yay!
And I'm already loving it. Time to start listening to archives. Anyway, I thought it was amusing that the first show I listened to mentions Lake Chargagamanchuga, that, you know which lake I'm talking about. I live a little further away now, and also, for those who, yes, I heard that it's also called Lake Webster, but I didn't know that at the time. Anyway, Sarah writes, I live a little further away now, but I used to live right near that lake, and it totally exists. The first time I heard about the lake, I was told a loose translation was, you fish on your side, I fish on my side, nobody fish in the middle. Funny stuff. Anyway, I'm looking forward to being a new loyal listener.
Cool.
Thank you, Sarah, for calling in and making fun of me on your first show. Next email.
She's getting in the habit early. That's always good.
Next email is from R. Deacon. Hoorah. From the other music streaming site. He writes, hi, Matt, I hate T-Rex. No, really, I'm shocked. Hochberg. Len, Mike, and Annette. We're heading to Walt Disney World the week after Thanksgiving, and we're wondering what the crowd levels would be like.
The week after Thanksgiving.
The week after Thanksgiving?
Yes, the week after Thanksgiving.
Should not be bad.
Looking at it now. So, the week after Thanksgiving. So, Thanksgiving this year is the 26th. The week after that, it's not bad at all. So, the week that begins like... Go ahead.
No, what are we looking at, Len? 5, 6s?
4s, 5s, 6s.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the only thing you've really got there that you got to watch out for is Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Parties, which I think started Labor Day, right? Just kidding, that's a joke.
4th of July.
That's right.
4th of July, exactly. It started back on Memorial Day.
As a matter of fact, I think the Christmas lighting is already on tonight.
Rich also adds, also a hardcore Walt Disney World fan, we have been to the world many, many times, including visiting at Christmas, so Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party, Osborne Family Spectacle of Lights, and touring the hotels to check out gingerbread houses will be on our to-do list. I was wondering if you had any other ideas for Christmas-themed activities we might have missed. That doesn't involve teaching Matt how to pronounce Piscataway or taking him to the Sci-Fi Dine-In Theater, his favorite eatery.
Hey, I'd go, if you could, I'd go through Fort Wilderness and see the Christmas light decorations.
You stole my idea.
That's a lot of fun, yeah. Because the people who bring in their campers will string up, all those air inflatable those are hysterical.
Yeah, definitely go for the RV section. The tents might not be all that amusing.
So speaking of, just start barging into the tents and ask people to see their decorations. Tell them you're there for the ornaments. See what they say. So I think when we go down in December, I think I might camp actually. So I might actually be in Fort Wilderness for the reunion.
Very nice. I like that idea.
It could be a hoot.
Cool. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. I mean, the resorts have a lot. Every resort is different. Certainly the deluxe resorts stand out from the other resorts in terms of their holiday decorations, so you definitely want to check that out. I can't really think. The only other thing I would recommend if you have a rental car maybe is checking out Celebration. If you go to Downtown Celebration, they have a huge tree. Obviously,
really?
Yeah, they actually have snow every day or every. Gotta check. I forget what days they are, but like on Main Street, they have the snow. They have the same thing at Celebration, and there's a schedule for that. And obviously, it's free to get in over there.
Because it's a town.
It's a town, that's right.
Welcome to Los Angeles. $5.
Next email is from Phil DeLucia of White Plains, New York. Who writes, "Dear Matt, Mike, Len, and the Fabulous Annette, I just got an email from Walt Disney World Sports Marathon Endurance claiming that this year will be the last for the Race for the Taste and the Tower of Terror 13K. Do you have any idea why they will not be returning in 2010? Can you recommend any other races run at Walt Disney World other than the January's marathon weekend?"
That's a good question. It's really funny because I believe Tower of Terror races is seeing its last race this year too. I think.
Yeah, that's what you meant.
Yeah, Tower of Terror
and Race for the Taste, and it's too bad because Race for the Taste is my favorite race down there. I have a feeling that maybe the interest is waning, and maybe the cost of marketing and putting on the race is maybe not showing the margins that it used to show, and maybe that could be it. I know that the Race for the Taste this year is only 65% full, so that could be another indication. Maybe the interest is waning, and they're saying, well, if it's not there, then maybe we'll just stop it. They may have overdone it with the races. I mean, they just kept on adding races here and there, and so now people are making choices, and maybe the choice is, well, I'm not going to go for a Race for the Taste. I'm not going to go for this one. I'm just going to concentrate on the marathon and the half marathon and the 5K or whatever. So I think that maybe they overdid it with the races.
I'll bet you money that they put a half marathon in October next year.
Okay.
I'll bet money right now. I'll bet you the entrance fee. So here's why I think they do it. So first of all, I think Mike's thing is correct that those two races aren't very popular. But I think they're not very popular because they're drawing away from each other, right? So Race for the Taste and
yes. They're in the same month.
And they're in the same month. But here's why I think it makes sense to put a half marathon there. Number one, if you're training for the marathon in January, then a half marathon in October fits really well into your training schedule.
Yep.
Right? So a lot of people will say, well, look, I'll get down to Florida, I'll see what my half marathon time is, I'll get a good look at the track, at the course, right, if I've never done it before. Weather's not that bad, right? Kids are, halfway through the first half of their school year, right? Plus Disney has no other events then in the fall for endurance. So they'll have a January, March, which I think that's like...
They have the Expedition Everest thing that's in September, and that should...
This September, but that's... I don't see that lasting long.
That's a scavenger hunt or something like that.
It's not the conventional race.
5K. Yeah. So I think they're going to do a half marathon because that's going to fit into the Walt Disney World marathon training schedule.
Let me ask you this, Scopa. Which race would you recommend in lieu of those? Because Phil wants to know, aside from the marathon weekend, any other races that you would recommend to Phil?
Phil and I have been going back and forth on this.
Why not the Princess Half?
I think so. I'll tell you, if I could, I would like to do the January half, the Princess half, this one in October. I'd like to do all three. I think that what Len says is very intriguing, and I'm already thinking, you've got food and wine, you've got Mickey's Not So Scary.
Sorry, let me add one more thing. So after I ran the Princess half, I got a survey from Disney's Endurance Sports asking about whether I would participate in a nighttime event, a nighttime running event. So I think if they do like a Halloween-themed half marathon in October, yeah. There's a whole set of questions around what kind of event, if we did this kind of event, would you go type thing. Sorry, go ahead.
Think of the cost, Len. Think of the cost of doing a nighttime half marathon, though. That would be amazingly expensive, compared to what they do during the day. Because all the lighting you'd need, and you'd need so much more security at night. You need so much more traffic control, and then the clean. I don't know about that.
If you start something, suppose you started at Epcot at 10 o'clock, 10 p.m. Park closes at 9.
I mean, they did the Tower of Terror race obviously at night, and that's
so.
Yeah, and so for me, so if it starts at 10, I'd be done by midnight.
Here's the thing. You get tons of volunteers for the half marathon and for the full marathon. How many volunteers are going to get to work from, 8 o'clock at night to maybe 2 o'clock in the morning?
Schedule on a Friday or Saturday night.
All right, this is enough running stuff. I'm falling asleep over here.
Sorry, go ahead.
Next email is from Len Shane of Sunrise, Florida, who writes, "Hello, Matt, Mike, Len, and the Fabulous Annette. Is it true that Disney Quest is closing?"
Oh, my God.
We heard rumors of it closing a while ago, but it didn't. And I think the only reason it didn't, though, is because There's nothing else. There's so few things left over there.
Yeah, the Virgin store is gone. They had that the Princess Di thing. That's the temporary thing that went in there.
Yeah.
But I mean, obviously, if they closed Disney Quest 2, I mean, the whole west side would just be a ghost town.
Yeah, so I think it's open by default. I don't know, but let's put it this way: they're not investing anything in it, are they?
No, they haven't.
No.
They haven't.
Yeah, so-
Nothing new. So.
Next email is from Marion, who writes, since the crowds are larger on days when the studios are showing Fantasmic, would it be wise to visit Hollywood studios on a non-Fantasmic day for regular touring, and then go back on another evening just for Fantasmic?
Yeah, it's a great idea.
Yeah.
Sure.
The only thing I would say, Marion, is make sure when you go there, generally they're doing when they have Fantasmic, but if you can, if there's 2 shows that night, definitely go for the second show. If your kids can't stay up, I hear that all the time, go back in the afternoon, take a nap, and make sure they'll be able to stay up, because it's far easier to get into Fantasmic for that second show than it is that first show. So definitely go for that if that's the case.
The other thing I would say is if you're trying to pick a day that doesn't have Fantasmic, usually the day after Fantasmic,
Yes.
it would have lower crowds. So the longer you go without Fantasmic, the bigger the crowds get.
Next email's from Jeff, who writes, hello, gang. I was wondering
Jeff.
if you had any info on the hexagonal bricks in the walkway in front of Walt Disney World with people's names on them. If I remember right, this was a program in the earlier mid-'90s. I noticed a lot of those starting to be replaced by regular bricks. I'd love to find out how to get our family one if possible. We don't really like the ones at Epcot. Anyway, keep up the great show. I'll be listening via podcast on my way to work.
Those are called Walk Around the World bricks, and they began, I believe, in 92 or 94. And I don't know if they still, I mean, I have one. I don't know if they still sell them. I don't even know where you'd go to ask. I guess I'd go to Guest Services, and I'd go to Guest Services at the Magic Kingdom in City Hall, and I would ask. But as far as I know, they don't have any more spaces available.
Yeah, they stopped selling those. The ones at the Magic Kingdom, especially, those sold years ago. The Epcot ones are not for sale as well, but those stopped selling, I believe, last year or the year before.
Yeah, I heard they were going to start taking up the bricks.
I don't know. I remember Newell has one, and I remember him saying that they promised him, I forget the amount of time, X amount of years.
It was like 7 or 8 or 9 years, and they were supposed to be contacted and said, "Hey, do you want to renew?" But mine's still there, and they haven't asked to renew or anything.
Yeah, I thought I heard something somewhere about them being taken up. Anyway, they're not selling them anymore, so you can't get any money.
Next email is from Amy Adair of Cape May, New Jersey, who writes, "Hi, I'm Matt, Mike, Len."
I've been to her restaurant, Cape May.
It's very good. My family and I will be coming to Walt Disney World over Christmas. While I know this is not the best time, we have no other choice. Lots of teachers. We have been to Disney many times over the years, but this will be the first time with a toddler. We're wondering what were the best things to do with a child of about 3. The thing we're most worried about are the character breakfasts. As I understand it, a person staying on property is able to book a week of breakfast 90 days from the date of their check-in at the hotel. This worries us because we'll be staying at our timeshare resort, which is Bonnet Creek, and while on Disney property, is not considered a Disney, quote, hotel. Therefore, we'll have to schedule all of our breakfast 90 days from the day we want to actually go to breakfast. We arrive and leave on a Sunday, so there are days that we cannot go. We plan to go to breakfast or dinner 5 of those other 6 days. The 3-year-old is a boy, so there's no need for the princess breakfast, and I did read or hear from you guys that the Hoop-Dee-Doo is really not for toddlers. I agree with that.
Yeah, it's not.
What's the best game plan for our calls in September to schedule? Where should we try for first, and what are the best fallback options in case we can't get where we want? Love the podcast. They make work much more enjoyable. Speaking, remember that stupid joke you had, Len, about Cape May?
Yeah.
She writes here, P.S. We don't mind going to the Cape May Cafe even though we live at the real thing.
That's awesome.
All right, so
character meals for boys. So I'm thinking maybe at the Polynesian, the Lilo and Stitch.
yeah, that would be a good one. Also, I was also thinking the one Playhouse Disney one at Hollywood and Vine at the studios.
Yeah. So here's the thing. So the character breakfasts in the park are more popular than the character breakfasts at the resorts in general. I think maybe Chef Mickey's might be
The exception to the rule.
might be the one exception to that, but in general, the resort stuff is. And if they're staying off-site, I think that there's actually a Cape May character breakfast, right? That's one of the least popular character breakfasts, so it's possible to do that.
Right.
And then didn't one of our listeners write in about the character breakfast over at is it the Hilton?
No, I think it's the one. I think you're talking. I was thinking of that one too, Len. The one at the is it the Swan or Dolphin? I never remember which one.
Oh, Swan or Dolphin. Yeah.
It's the Swan. It's at the
The Garden Grove.
Garden Grove. Yeah.
Yeah. That one. That's The last we heard on that, it was relatively uncrowded and a pretty decent character ratio.
I think really, aside from the princess ones, I can't imagine that a 3-year-old boy is really going to be that into, or against rather, the female characters, right? I mean, certainly, like even Crystal Palace, which has Winnie the Pooh characters, I think he'll love that. 1900 Park Fair, all right. Mary Poppins for breakfast, well, definitely not for dinner because that's Cinderella.
What about Breakfastosaurus?
Tusker House?
Yeah, Tusker
No,
House.
Breakfastosaurus. Yeah, that's a Tusker House. That's right.
Yeah,
You know.
Donald Safari Breakfast now.
Yeah, you got Mickey and you got Minnie and you got Pluto, Goofy, Donald.
I like the breakfast. That's a good idea, actually. And that's you can usually get walk up there. That's not bad.
Yeah.
That's not a bad idea, actually.
Yeah, just make them in, Amy, when you're making your reservations, just make as many as you can up front. That's the key, since you're going during such a busy time, as soon as you can, because you know what, something is better than nothing in this case, because obviously you're looking to be going places, and make those reservations. I like that that recommendation for Animal Kingdom over there, and certainly the Polynesian one I think will be difficult to get, but it's probably doable. You probably have to get like a later one, like 10 o'clock or something like that. Studios is not a bad one also. I mean, you can try, Chef Mickey's would be great, obviously, but that one's going to be very, very difficult for you to get.
Yeah.
But, try for that one. You got nothing to lose. I mean, worst case they'll tell you is that we don't have anything. Crystal Palace.
Yep.
Yeah, go at it. Next email is from Dennis Hayes of Farmington, Maine. He writes, "Hi all. Have you ever thought about a discussion of Magic Music Days? Live entertainment by talented student musicians from across the country. Cast members for a day. It's very exciting."
No, I haven't. Wonder if any of our listeners have ever participated in that.
I know Glenn, who writes for Studio Central, he did it when he was in high school, and I always hear good things about it. But that's definitely something to consider, because I know that a lot of high schools participate in there. So maybe if we can maybe round up, 2-3 high school kiddies who have participated. Well, I guess maybe they're not in high school anymore. If they participated in Magic Music Days, and want to talk about it, I guess that might be something to talk about in the future. So thank you, Dennis.
Cool, good idea.
Next email is from Jeff, who writes, "Hello, Matt and the gang. In episode 440, Frontierland, Adventureland, and Liberty Square Dining, Mr. Scope defended the honor of the great Monte Cristo sandwich from Columbia Harbor House. Question number 1. Is there still a Monte Cristo to be found on Walt Disney World property?"
I don't believe I have not seen one. The only place that I've seen them have been at the counter service, like what's the name of the one between the Columbia Harbor House and I think Pico Spills used to have them.
Yes.
But other than that, I have not seen a Monte Cristo sandwich in, hold on to your hat, 33 years.
I don't see it. I was
33 years. Yeah, 33 years. Way back when.
I was at the Magic Kingdom a couple weeks ago, and I ate at Columbia Harbor House. And I don't remember seeing it there. And I just checked All Ears menu over here for Columbia Harbor House. I'm not seeing it on there, unless it goes by a different name. But by the way, one of the nastiest sandwiches you'll ever eat over there, Len, at Columbia Harbor House, Lighthouse sandwich, which is hummus with tomato and broccoli slaw. Oh man, I thought it could be good. Emphasis on the word "could."
Really?
It was terrible. It was like, let me tell you why it's bad. For anyone who enjoys a nice side of hummus, it had the consistency of mayonnaise, and hummus should not be have that consistency. It was disgusting. So
yeah, it's just not good.
But I guess we haven't found that one. So no Monte Cristo to be found unless someone else has seen it.
That's a shame.
Jeff also wants to know, does anyone know what Tony's Town Square was called in 1980? This is where I had my first Monte Cristo at Walt Disney World, and also my first sit-down restaurant meal. I have to say, the waitress treated us like kings that day, and it's a cherished memory. I wish I could find her and thank her.
That used to be called the Hospitality House, I believe, back then.
Ah.
Wow. Yeah, 1980 is a little bit before my time with sit-down restaurants anyway.
Yeah, just a little bit. Well, very good.
Cool.
Thank you, Jeff. Next email is from Claire Sauter of Colchester, Essex, England. Writes, "Hi guys, I just finished listening to episode 541 where you compared Le Cellier and Yachtsman Steakhouse. Although I fear your wrath, I just wanted to comment on our not-so-great experience at Le Cellier, of which we visited in October 2007. I've read as many good reviews of Le Cellier that I booked the restaurant with some excitement as a prelude to the Disney cruise that we were going on to commence a few days later. On arrival at the restaurant, the lobby was, or certainly appeared to be, very chaotic. After waiting 20 minutes, we were finally seated by a young man who, having asked us if we had eaten there before, we had not, stated that we were in for a real treat, and it would be the best meal that we had, that we would not want to go anywhere else again. This, of course, immediately said it.
Oh, it's like saying, watch this before you throw a Frisbee.
There were 5 in our party, and we were squeezed onto a table of 4. Luckily, we were all related, and we waited, and waited, and waited.
And it rained.
And it rained. And the deluge. Eventually, our order was taken by the most irritating waitress I've ever encountered. She was not at all pleasant and tried to be helpful, but she had a sugary sweet sing-song voice, and every time she said, "You're welcome," it sounded so insincere. Thank goodness for the breadsticks, otherwise we would have starved. Not really. By the time our starters arrived, food was great, and we all enjoyed what we had. When our main courses arrived, one of them was wrong. I can't remember the exact details as it was a while ago, but it was taken away while the other 4 were left behind. Once again, it took a long time for the 5th meal to return, by which time the rest of us had nearly finished our meals. The restaurant was very, very busy, and the whole time we were eating, there was a cast member pacing up and down next to our table. I assume she was trying to organize the tables in order to fit more people in, but I really couldn't help think that she might have been better put to use clearing tables and helping out the waitstaff. It was very annoying and rather distracting, but being English, we were far too polite to say so.
That's a shame.
Well, it's too bad that that didn't work out for you, Claire.
That's a shame.
Yeah, and sometimes it happens when you have just bad service. It happens occasionally, and sorry. Next email is from Scott M. of Machesney Park, Illinois. He writes, "Hi, Matt, Mike, and Len. I have a question specifically for Matt. Now that you've been living near Walt Disney World for a while, do you think living so close to the parks has ruined the magic for you? My wife and I have come to the conclusion that we really can't deal with Chicago area weather anymore. Experiencing 5 seasons in one day just isn't as fun as it sounds. We've decided that it's time to move to Orlando. We're huge Disney fans, and I've been to the parks many times. My wife has only been there once, during our honeymoon in 2006. She's worried that living so close to Walt Disney World and being able to go whenever we want will ruin some of the magic for us or our son. What do you think?" It's a good question, Scott. I think, certainly I don't regret it. And living so close hasn't ruined the magic for me. I think I go to the parks once a week, and I do that because I have to. I don't have to, but I choose.
Because you have to.
Yeah, I choose to go to the parks once a week to update my site, Studio Central. But aside from those trips, I don't really. Maybe I'll go once every 3-4 weeks. Generally, when people come down there, I'll go and hang out over there. I don't think it ruins the magic necessarily. I wouldn't say that you're necessarily the prototypical person I would say, yeah, definitely go for it. I think it's fine. I don't have a problem with it. I think the best people who would definitely say absolutely have no qualms about it are the people who come down multiple times per year, 2, 3, 4 times a year. I think you're the perfect people for it because obviously you've been down a number of times. You still like it. And certainly moving down, I don't think would ruin anything for it. I really only think the only time I agree that it could ruin magic, and certainly it's not being as a guest, I think it's people who move to Orlando and try to be cast members. And the reason why I think that is because when you work anywhere, it loses its merit. I mean, think about it, Len. If someone did a website about your employer, whom I won't name, but it's a major company. Len, are you going to be gung ho about going to the websites about that and posting about it?
Yeah.
Thanks for ruining my example.
It depends. I guess if I'm there all the time, I probably would. I'd probably still go once a week like you. I don't know if I get over there.
Right, but I'm saying is that.
Yeah. I know what you're saying. Yeah.
You go once a week.
That's still $50 a year. That's still not bad.
Yeah, I think, Scott, I would think, what? I say go for it, at least for the weather. And certainly if you're worried about it being, maybe you're going to go too often, just move maybe not to Orlando, maybe move to an area surrounding. I mean, Tampa's got really cheap housing, and you're only an hour away from Tampa. So there's lots of other areas around that are even cheaper. The coasts are very nice, so that might be an option for you, Scott.
True.
Next email is from, who's my next email from? Mark Sonnenberg, who writes, "Is it possible to eat..." No, we can't do that. Hi, I'm a friend.
Is it possible to eat? No, we can't do that.
Mark writes, though, "Hi, I and a friend are going to Disney World soon. Last year we went around collecting fast
Welcome
passes
back.
the first part of the day. Yes, quite Scopa. And using them that evening. We've even used fast passes the next day. I heard that they're cracking down on fast pass times, possibly even updating software to keep you from doing this. Do you know if it's true? Love the show. Keep up the good work.
Yeah, I was surprised that you're able to use it the next day because I thought that's one of the easiest things for them to check. But using them on the same day, that's absolutely fine. In terms of cracking down on it, no, I don't think they're going to do it because unless it's for the next day, because there's a huge guest dissatisfaction possibility if they start enforcing that 1 hour time window.
Yeah. I don't think that's going to be same day, no problem at all. But beyond that, I think you're having an issue. So just stick with strategy 1, but you're going to have to drop strategy 2 there. All right, well, it's time for our last question of the day, and this is usually when I ask Mr. Newell 3 questions. I give him 3 options to choose from, and 1 gets answered today, the other 2 get put back in the email queue to be answered later, but Mike's gone, so instead, Mike will answer it. So, Mike, are you ready?
Okay, Matt.
All right, so here are your options, Mike. Oh no, Christmas is canceled. How old was Len in 1994? Or, oh no, not the Indy Speedway.
How old was Len in 1994?
All right. Last email today is from Dan Cisneros of Las Cruces, New Mexico.
Dan.
Red Tie Gang went to Walt Disney World for the first time back in 1994. Just went in September 2009, and while digging around in my old Disney books, I found my old 1994 unofficial guide. There's no mention of Len Testa there. When did Len officially become Mr. Unofficial Guide?
That's a good question. So I started graduate school in 95, went on and off for a while, finished in 2000. So I started working with the Unofficial Guide team in 97. I did my first research trip with them in 2001, and I officially joined the team in 2003. So my first big substantial body of work was starting in 2003, and now I've done. Originally, the interesting thing was it was just touring plans, and then so it was just a dozen pages or so in the back of the book. Then Bob asked us to do a little bit more about. I think it started with hotels because I was staying in a different hotel every night, even back then. And then we started updating the attraction reviews. Then we started doing transportation times, and then by that time we had so many people that it was we could do pretty much anything. So now that we update almost every section of the book. I don't do dining, although we do counter service. So we do counter service, but I don't do sit down restaurants. I don't do any of the shopping stuff, and I don't do Universal. But other than that, everything's pretty much fair game.
Cool. Bless you. Well, that's it for us today. Don't forget that this episode of WDW Today is being sponsored by Mouse Fan Travel. And you know what? Did you know, Len, that kids sail free on Disney Cruise Line on select 3- and 4-night Disney Cruise Line cruises from January to April 2010?
Yeah, they tow them in a little boat behind the big boat.
That's right. It's a wonderful perk. You get to wave to them when you're on the back of the ship, and maybe throw them a bone every now and then.
Exactly.
No, but seriously, you can book them this wonderful trip, and along with everything else Disney related, at mousefantravel.com. Go to find our older episodes, read our show notes, or send us your comments. Visit the WDW website at wdwtoday.com. For Len Testa, Mike Scopa, and Mike Newell, I'm Matt Hochberg. We'll see you on the next show.
Stupid Judy, stupid energy.
This has been a production of Mouse World Radio.